Officials in Spain say almost all of the migrants who entered its North African enclave of Ceuta over the past 2 days have now returned to Morocco. An estimated 60,000 crossed into the territory, mainly by swimming around a border fence. Well, this group was escorted out of Ceuta by security forces on Saturday morning. At least 67 people died while trying to make this crossing. Italy and France have since tightened border controls with Spain. A handful of exhausted migrants who swam to Ceuta early on Saturday were among those escorted back across the border. Medics had to help one man who collapsed on the beach, but some say they're determined to stay in the territory.
All these people are in a very bad situation. They're not being given any food or drink, and they've closed everything down so we can't buy anything to eat to force us to return to our country. But even if they close it down, even if everything is closed, we're going to stay here whether we're hungry or not.
And Spanish authorities have installed a 500-meter-long floating barrier on the sea border between Ceuta and Morocco. It's an attempt to seal off one of the main points used by people to cross the border. Let's go live now to Ceuta, where we have Jazeera's Jonah standing by for us. Jonah, so Spanish authorities say most migrants have returned home to Morocco again. Does that mean that things are now back to normal?
Well, certainly they're saying in big number terms, most have gone. Of the 60,000 or so estimated to have made that extraordinary crossing into Ceuta, this autonomous Spanish enclave on the northern tip of Africa on Thursday, 53,000 or so, they say, have gone back voluntarily or essentially rounded up and pushed back. And I can show you that happening right now because those numbers are going up every minute. Groups of mostly young men, that is the border gate right in front of them that they're walking towards there, Morocco on the other side, and this is happening all the time now. The streets of central Ceuta full now of a very evident presence of Spanish military, also of Spanish police, of course. Still quite a lot, we can see them lining the roadway here as well, of these young men still looking on, perhaps some intent on staying. They're being spoken to randomly by police officers and army soldiers as well. And at various points as we arrived here, we saw large groups being hoarded together essentially and encouraged down the roadway towards this point. Most of them, it has to be said, moving on fairly voluntarily. So does this represent normality? Certainly not. But a relative calm over the last 48 hours. Notwithstanding that, of course, 77 people have died in this exercise over the last couple of days. And just to give you a very brief lie of the land beyond the border and the border gates behind me there, you mentioned that new 800-meter pontoon, the red line you can see there close to the horizon. Well, that was put in place this morning by the Spanish border authorities. The fence here in front of it is where many people were seen clambering, many getting into difficulty in the last 48 hours. This is what represents Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's letter to the EU saying, we've got this under control, the border is under control.
That's Jonah reporting live from Ceuta. Thank you so much, Jonah.